You are in the right place. Today we're talking about how TCU will try to stop Shedeur Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. Really good offense. So we're going to start. There were recent comments from TCU head coach Sonny Dykes. Essentially, he was talking about the challenge that it is playing Colorado because there isn't much tape on all the team put together. There's a lot of different strings of tape they had to put together to review all the different athletes that transferred in. I did talk about that on my channel before, saying how difficult it will be to prepare for Colorado because this is basically a whole new team from last year. All right, so Sonny Dykes basically says, quote, you got to start with the quarterback Shedeur and get an evaluation on him and then kind of go from there. What he can do and what are they going to do with him more than likely, what are his strengths and what are his weaknesses, and then try to go pick and choose from that spot and who are the key guys. All right, so let me just say this, and I'm going to get more in depth on this later on in the video. Shedeur wants to be like Tom Brady. He's signed to the Brady brand. You could tell that in the way he plays. If I'm a defensive coordinator, I know he wants to spread the ball around and run a wide open offense and kind of an up-tempo thing because of Sean Lewis. And that's just like how Shedeur likes to play. All right, I'm going to break that down and see and tell you all how you can take that away from a defensive perspective. So my defense coordinator, Charles Kelly, would walk in and say all these strengths and what he would do for the game plan against Shedeur if we were playing against him. So I'm going to be taking a little bit from him, so I hope he doesn't mind. But I want to start with who the defensive coordinator is for the TCU Horned Frogs. That is Joe Gillespie in this clip. He is the defensive coordinator and linebackers coach for TCU. You can see he's got a video with linebackers doing shuffle drills, but then it's the tackling video I want y'all to pay attention to. So they are going underneath the tarp, running forward, hitting them. Why is that important? All right. So I think that's going to be really important because it's going to be a part of the game plan. It is going to be making this boring. You want to beat Tom Brady? Okay. You are going to have to make short underneath throws, and we're going to make you earn everything you get. I'm telling you, that's going to be really good in the latter part of this video. Last thing I want to talk about, this article in front of me. TCU cornerback Josh Newton actually played against Shedeur. He has experience. I'm sure he's going to be leading some of the defensive meetings as far as information goes. He won the game when he was at ULM Monroe and they played Jackson State. Now, to be fair, this was a younger Shedeur, different offense, different personnel, but he was essentially saying what he did great. That game, Shedeur threw a lot. He threw, I want to make sure I got his stats right from the ULM game. 28 of 41 passes. That's a lot of throws. That's a lot of attempts for 259 yards and a touchdown. And the final score was 12-7. That ULM won with 2 fourth-quarter field goals. He, quote, said he's the leader of the team, good thrower and all that, but real hogs after him this time because it's Power 5, P5. That's cornerback talk. Cornerbacks, they're a special breed. They love to talk, especially against quarterbacks, because that's the person they're going against. So don't read too much into that. It's not a real big thing. It's just how most cornerbacks are, especially if they're yapping or get interviewed. So what that tells me is they did the same thing in this scenario, in this game plan I'm about to lay out. 28 of 41 pass attempts. That's a good amount of pass attempts, and it's only 259 yards, meaning they didn't give up anything deep. You look at that 12-7 score and 1 touchdown Shedeur had, they did not give up long plays in that, and that gets me to the game plan. He wants to be a Brady clone. Shedeur can run faster than Brady. That's no question about that. If they turned him into a running quarterback for this game, it wouldn't surprise me because I doubt they're going to give him anything deep. Look at these highlights. And then they're going to come up and make tackles. I predict Shedeur is going to see a lot of cover 2 man, a lot of cover 4. Okay, it's going to be either two deep safeties, basically. If you know what cover 2 man blitzing, in my opinion, unless the game gets close and they're trying to steal possessions, they're trying to get the ball back, or situational is like 3rd and 7 and they're at at a good place on the field to blitz and bring pressure. I think they're gonna try to make it a boring game. You want to be Tom Brady, okay? We want to make you take away these highlights and make you use your weapons, okay? Now you got Jimmy Horn, you got Travis Hunter, you got all these people that are gonna go get the ball, but it's really hard to go get the ball in a Power 5 conference team that played the national championship last year, and they got 3 people deep waiting on the ball to be thrown. That is not, you're not putting the odds in your favor of putting receivers in that situation. And the last thing Shedeur does is throw interceptions. He is interception adverse. So he typically in these highlights, he's throwing to people that are favorable to catch the ball. It's not favorable to catch the ball when you got people in the backfield like these trained safeties. So he's going to have to throw it underneath, and he's going to have to take his chances. Now, why did they want to do this? This is a new offense, a completely new offense by Colorado with all kind of transfers, new offensive coordinator, and it's the first game in the season. You're telling me that offense is going to have so much continuity that they're going to be able to do sustainable drives throughout the games? That is really hard to do in the NFL, and these guys are professionals, and that's really hard to do when you have a team going from one year to the next where you keep most of your athletes. So here we have a lot of people coming together, and you're thinking they're going to have continuity with no holding penalties, no false starts. There won't be hiccups in the first game. There will be. So they're going to have to get over that, and TCU is counting on the game being boring. And if you get a holding call, you're behind on the first downs, or the second down, you're behind on the yardage. Now it's 2nd and 14 or 2nd and 17. Those are drive killers, especially when they're not giving you anything deep. And your best athletes, they can break a tackle, but they can't break 5. It's really, really hard to do. So even if you put your athletes in the best place possible to catch underneath, those linebackers are trained to go get the ball. They're getting the ball, and there's only so much where a ball carrier can go. So yeah, Jimmy Horn can make a move, but then he could get hit by 2 other people. Travis Hunter might get a ball thrown to him, a screen, but they might have it well covered. So that's how I expect TCU to try to take away from Shedeur Sanders. It's going to be up to him and the offense to deal with that boring game plan, take what's there, and try to make the difference at the end. It's just going to be really hard when a new offense gets together and expect them to do drives after drives after drives. They're going to be really dependent on up-tempo, big plays, but it's hard to be up-tempo when it's 2nd and 13, or 2nd and 7, and those wide open throws down the field are very covered. But I can't wait to see it next week. Gonna be there. Y'all hold it down. Heritage Sports.